thank God for so much. And a major shout out to my girl, Taisha, on this video, on the experience that I went through going to another church and when my time was up. And the reason why I say you never leave out of frustration. And I know my boy PP Drawings and Mini Man and others can identify with what I'm getting ready to say about some of our past experiences while we had to leave a church. And you know, if you looked at the video I did on This Is Why I Don't Go to Musicals No More, then you're going to kind of understand what I'm saying in this video, because one thing I noticed about God, God don't bless no mess. God is a God of order. He say do all things in decent and order. And sometimes people tend to stay somewhere where it's just a bunch of mess going on. Not saying I'm telling you when to leave and how to leave, but I'm telling you what works for me and what I've done and how I got to where I'm at now. Even where I'm at now, things ain't always great, but we know how to keep stuff in order. So when I first think about leaving a church, like I have done in the past, let me just tell you this. I have played for Holiness, Baptist, Pentecostal, AME, non-denomination, Church of God in Christ, Holiness. I done pretty much played at all of them. Pentecostal, and I done seen some mess that just goes on. This is why me personally, I'm not caught up in religion. I'm caught up in my relationship with God, because you will be shocked what you see in half of these churches and what they call being in order for God when it ain't nothing but man-made traditions. So I just want to come on here with a couple of scriptures. And if you ever have a chance to look at Acts chapter 2, look at verses 42 through 47, and go to chapter 4, and look at 32 and 33. And when you sum it all up, it said, you can just put this in your mind, and it's saying it like this in so many ways. A church cannot possibly be on one accord, of one heart, of one soul for the Lord, unless every member has the proper attitudes and actions of respect for the pastor. So when you look at that, when you got a lot of mess going on in church, that's in the book of Acts, it is pretty much impossible to move forward with mess. This is why you have to have a great leader, a great pastor at your church, a pastor that don't just accept no anything. And when you look at Hebrews 13 and 17, it says, obey them that have the rule over you, and submit yourselves, for they watch for your souls, as they that must give an account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that it is unprofitable for you. This is what I'll be talking about why preachers get up with this begging for money and it run folks off. And people don't want to be a part of this begging for money stuff, because God holds leaders more accountable. This is why I move forward and leave churches like this alone. Church cannot possibly be on one accord. If everybody ain't in the same heart, same soul, man, you got to come on and be for real with these scriptures. Every member has the proper attitude and actions of the respect for the pastor. But see, we all backwards. We are all backwards, because we see more mess in church. You see more congregation members can't get along with the pastor. You see more pastors don't even know their own sheep. That's why church be so backwards. Now let's look at what Paul says in Corinthians 14:33. It tells us, for God, and we all know this, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as it in all our churches of the saints. And in verse 40, he said, let all things be done in decent and in order. So when there is no decent and order in the church, nobody's getting along. The pastor is against the congregation. All of that stuff adding together, I don't have no need to be at that church. I don't. Because God is a God of order. Good God Almighty. Now, let's look at 2 Thessalonians 3 and 1. This is why a great pastor is so important. 2 Thessalonians 3 and 1 say, let us hold up our pastors and their wives and children in firmity prayer every day. Let us seek to encourage them often, and let us have the courage to stand up for them whenever anyone will seek to turn them down. This is what Bishop Eddie Long is going through right now. He got some people in his church still holding him up and behind him 100% because they are doing it according to the way the Bible say and what Paul tells us. And you got so many people now in the average church, like I say, they up against their pastor. That's why, like many men say, some deserve double honor. And we always being so judgmental. So this is what keeps me moving on from a lot of churches, because I won't reveal the name, but I was at this one church that I played at, and it was so out of order. It was non-denomination, and they held church all day. Didn't have nothing to do with God. All it was a show-off contest. See, this stuff makes me move around. And like we say, we never talk about, it never taught about salvation. Never taught about that. All it was a show-off church. And everybody running around doing what they want to do, and the pastor couldn't get the church in order because the pastor wasn't in order. The pastor was doing what he wanted, when he wanted, and how he wanted it. And he didn't care what people said or thought about it. So why was I still sitting in there just playing? I was at one church where I didn't even have no choir. I played for a congregation for probably about 2 or 3 years. Just stayed there with a congregation and no choir and just got handicapped. God says it's time to move, JT. I have to go where I have to go. I got to go where I can grow at. Let me say it like that. That's why I hate a church that don't move forward. Me personally, I hate being in churches where they don't want to move forward. They like to just stay traditional, stay at the same thing they've been doing for year after year. No, I can't be around that. That's just me though. You might be different. You might can deal with it. But one thing I noticed in my own life, when you miss God, you miss it. When he tells you to do something, one thing I learned, you better do it right then and don't have no questions about it. Do it. Good God Almighty. And then let's go to 2 Thessalonians again, 5:12 and verse 13. And we know this. And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which labor among you and are over you in the Lord and amongst you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their work's sake, and be at peace among yourselves. Know them that labors amongst you. That's why I was saying in the other video, a pastor, it ain't no way why a pastor shouldn't know his flock. He should know his people in his church. Know them that labor amongst you. I should know my choir. It shouldn't be nobody in my choir I don't know. I hate to say it like that. Just like a pastor should know he should know the whole church to me. Because how are you going to go after that one lost sheep if you don't know who the sheep is? You see what I'm saying? And we got people straying away from the church all the time. And a lot of pastors just letting them go. Know them that labors amongst you. That's what I tell the beginner musicians all the time. And when you got more conflict in praising, how can you stay in the church like that? When it's all up against God. Just like these musicals. God ain't in a lot of these musicals. It's just a show-off contest. People trying to get glory themselves and out-sing each other, outplay each other. That's why I don't play no part of a lot of these musicals no more. I don't have to go to church to serve God. But I go to church. I choose to go to church in spite of all the mess. I go to church faithfully every Sunday, all through the week. Because I want to still do what I can do for God. I want to do all I can do. But when it comes to me and my salvation, if a church is just talking about begging money and it's just a bunch of mess and hell in the church, those hell raisers, I leave them folks alone. I shake the dust off my feet and leave, just like Jesus told the disciples. I leave. I don't have no part of that. And that's kind of what I wanted to hit about. But I like to say this, God will show you when your time is up. Like Ecclesiastes tells us, chapter 3, there is a time and a season for everything. We tend to stay in our seasons too long. We all should know when the master is speaking to us. But you will miss God by the distractions you are dealing with. I love my church. I have been in my church through the ups and the downs. The church I am at now has been the church that I've been at the longest. But it took me a long time to get to where I'm at now. So let me tell you a little something about me. I was finna move to Orlando, Florida. That's what I was getting ready to do. But God brought me back to Dallas. I went up there with my cousin, Michael Thompson, and everything, and I was talking about moving and to go be up under him because he is always gone. And he had a job opening for me in Florida. But God left me here in Dallas and still got me in Forney, Texas. See what I'm saying? Sometimes I can't see what he is doing. That's why I don't question him. I just move when he say move. Now, back in the past, I used to miss God all the time by being hard-headed, by people. Oh, you can't be leaving. You know you supposed to be here. See, I hate when pastors do that all the time. You don't have to be you ain't some places you are not there. You're not planning to be there forever and forever. Let me say that right. Some places you are only there for a season. And when your season is up, God moves you on. God will place you where you need to be. I tell ministers that all the time. You see ministers come and go in churches because sometimes God just plant them there for a season. Some leave out of frustration and some leave because they are being obedient to God. This is why we got so many churches on one street down here in Dallas alone. People leave out of frustration. See, God is not the author of confusion like I was just saying. We be confused within ourselves in so many ways. And I hope this is helping somebody right now. Don't listen to nobody. Listen to God. Even though I'm talking, follow God. I just can tell you what works. This is just what works for me and what I have been through. I done played that. I can't count how many churches. But I never left the wrong way. And people get mad at you when you leave because people want you to stay there with them forever and forever. And then people want to do you any kind of way. They don't want to appreciate you. They want you to stay with them. They want you to stay there through the mess and don't never leave. And they want you to agree with the mess. No, not me. My God is a God of order. This is what I tell my choir so much. If y'all don't want to be on one accord, if y'all want to do anything for God, don't even get in the choir stand. I'd rather have 4 people up there than to have 30 or 40 people in the choir stand that's not even right. No, because I'm not concerned with quantity. I'm concerned with quality. I don't need a whole lot of folks to make a joyful noise for the Lord. See, that's the problem with a lot of these pastors. They concerned on a number. Don't you know if you get 50 people in the choir stand, 20 or 30 of them ain't going to be right. Uh-oh, see, somebody don't like that. You might only get 10 of them to sing, but you got 40 or 50 up there. Oh. Just like in the congregation, everybody come to your church ain't for your church. You got folks coming to church just to start mess, just to keep mess going, just to see who doing this and who doing that. Church done became all about a fashion show now. That's why I move forward. I don't move backwards. Everybody that come to church for all the wrong reasons. And I got me a new suit. Now I'm going to go to church. I ain't been to church in 3 months, but now I got a new suit. I'm finna go to church so somebody can see me looking good. Man, I'm not caught up in, I'm not caught up in what folks is wearing. I can go to church in some corduroys and a plaid shirt. Ain't got nothing to do with what I got on. Because my praise is for God. It ain't got nothing to do with what I'm driving. I can drive my old regular 83 Chevy to the church, just like I do. People will laugh at me. Man, get rid of that old junk. While they laughing, I might have to pull one of them home in that old junk. Because it's not about what I'm driving. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for everything. It ain't about what I'm driving. It ain't about the car. It's about the person that's inside of the car. It's my heart posture, like P.P. Drawings and Midi Man say. My heart is behind everything I do. And when these churches be doing all this old stupid mess, I can't do nothing but move forward. Now, that's why I say if you somewhere where you got to fuss and fight all the time, why are you there? God is not about fussing and fighting. God is a God of order. And you got so many churches out of order, and people are cool with that, but see, not me. I told that was my prayer that God placed me where you need me to be. Show me, Lord, where I need to be. I'm confused. I pray a confused prayer to the Lord back then. I told him just like this, Lord, I am so confused. And I know it's not from you, it's from myself. And these people at this church, I said, show me the way, Lord, because things is getting worse and worse. And I know you are not a God of mess. And I heard him say, JT, I got your back, like I always tell you. But I need you to stay there 2 or 3 more weeks. Leave the right way, and then I got somewhere for you to be. And I've been there ever since. Has it always been good? No. Because there is no such thing as a perfect church. But I can follow behind my pastor. I see what God is doing to him in the church. The church has grown. Now that's what I'm talking about. People getting in the church, getting saved. new members coming, everybody getting on one accord like the Bible teaches us to be. That's the kind of church I want to be. I want to be around. Yeah, like my pastor. He don't hold back nothing. He love ideas and changes. He don't even care. He'll tell you in the heartbeat, that's your department. You do what you want to do. I'm in the pulpit. I ain't got no business messing with you in the ministry, the music ministry. You do any call you need to make, that's your department over there. We just need to be on one accord. And you know what? Every time I make a decision on something, I let my pastor know first what I'm getting ready to do, just out of order, because he is still the shepherd of the church. See, we got it the other way around in a lot of these churches. We got people in the congregation telling the pastors what to do. Yeah. They done ran the pastor off. Oh, them weak pastors. I like what my boy P.P. Drawing say. You got to have a great leader. Yeah. Major shout out to Pastor Leonard. Yeah. I done watched his videos. Dynamic word of God. Dynamic man of God and dynamic word he's speaking. I'm glad you found somebody to fall behind that's teaching and preaching the truth will of God. The sound doctrine will be heard whether people going to be with it or not. And I'm glad you finally found somewhere to go. Because I know for myself, I done missed out a lot of times in my past by being hard-headed and staying with folks that I know I'm supposed to be with. If God ain't in it, I don't want no part of it. And I'm out on that.